So let me just have a brief conversation with you about a silent epidemic that's affecting millions worldwide, and that's domestic violence. October is Domestic Violence Month, and it is very near and dear to my heart. 1 in 3 women will experience physical or sexual violence in her lifetime. Men are equally affected. About 1 in 3 men experience abuse, including stalking and violence from intimate partners. And so I say that because abuse, intimate partner violence, knows no gender. When we look at the research for our young adults, 18 to 24, our high school students, as well as our middle school students, report experiencing partner violence, whether it's isolation, bullying, intimidation, and some physical components of it. Pay attention, y'all. I want to say this. Abuse does not always look like bruises. You're not going to always see a black eye. You're not going to always see a broken arm. You're not going to always see anything that's physical. I want to invite you to treat every person that you encounter with kindness and compassion. Because, number one, you never know what they're going through. Number two, that's just a humane way to live. So when we live from a humanity-informed perspective, we want to consider every individual. You don't know what people are going through. I want you to think about this. Because intimate partner violence and abuse may not look like a bruise, it can look like control. It can look like isolation. If you've been accustomed to interacting with somebody and you start to notice some progressive changes, I'm inviting you not to ignore that. If you see somebody or in an environment with somebody when observations are made or criticisms are made, they take it real personal, I want you to just kind of think about that. Abuse, intimate partner violence can look like being cut off from resources, being cut off from friends, being cut off from family, being cut off from money. It could look like monitoring every move someone makes. Pay attention, y'all. It could look like in the workplace. It could look like becoming late, or late being a new habit that was not present since this person has been in the workplace. It can look like isolation, even at work, withdrawing from meetings, not making contributions. It could also look like trying to stay late to avoid going home. It could look like just a systematic shutdown of the person, just coming to work, not interacting, not engaging, and you think, oh, she just feeling some kind of a way, or he's just in his feelings today. Maybe they are, and rightly so. So I want us to shift our thinking and be more aware of some potential signs. Not everything that I'm saying in terms of isolation, control. I'm not saying that every person who starts to withdraw at work is going through a situation such as domestic violence or intimate partner violence, but I do want you to raise your consciousness. When I was in the workforce, I was, I'm going to use the word fortunate, and it's probably not the best word to use, but I would have employees to come and talk with me about their personal situations. Coming to work, showing up, doing the job, you don't know what they're experiencing. But when those young ladies would come into my office and share their personal experience, Miss Lacking, I cannot go out today, and here's why. They just didn't have it. And so having a level of compassion to understand that people are living real lives out here. And it's not just being overwhelmed, chronically stressed from the job itself. It is and can be from other life factors that when I show up at work, I'm bringing all this with me. And so when I think about domestic violence and intimate partner violence, there's such a stigma that can be associated with it. And I want us to not be in a judgmental space. Oh, you can just get out of that. You just leave. Why you don't leave? Why you putting up with that? That's not helpful. That is so not helpful. So I want to invite you to just really think about, be more observant in your environment at work, as a leader, supervisor, or a coworker. Just be more conscious, be more aware. And if you see the signs, don't ignore them. Do not ignore them. There are ways that you can just check in on somebody without being invasive, without being intrusive. And so if you have a relationship with someone who's beginning to shift or move differently, don't ignore that. Do not ignore that. People are going through this thing silently. And that's why I want to raise a public voice. Intimate partner violence, domestic violence is very real. At your workplace today, somebody showed up unwell as a result of having struggled to get there. The very least that we can do in our work environments, in our personal relationships, in our communities that we are associated with, is to be kind and compassionate. When you show up and you're kind and you're compassionate, people sometimes will let those guards down and let you in. So you want them to come in so that we can get them the help that they need. Again, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It affects millions around the world. And that's why it's a silent epidemic, because we don't talk about it because it's so personal. There is stigma associated with it. It has no socioeconomic boundaries. It does not, y'all. And so I'm inviting you for the month of October, as you have awareness for other conditions, other situations, I'm inviting you to show up several times this month in your purple in support of, one, our survivors, two, the millions of lives that we've lost as a result of intimate partner violence. Somebody leaves here every day at the hands of an intimate partner. And it can go on, and we can't blame ourselves. Let me say that we can't blame ourselves. But I want us to be conscious. I want us to be aware. I want us to be open. I want us to be kind. And I want us to be compassionate. And so don't ignore the signs. If you see someone who you know, and sometimes people share at work and they tell you don't say anything. And I get that. But make sure you're checking in on that person to really see where they are. How are they being? Do not, and I'm repeating, do not ignore the warning signs if you're in a relationship with someone who may be experiencing intimate partner violence. Don't ignore the warning signs. Be the voice, share, raise awareness, have conversations with your young people, and support the cause. So, where are you banned? People ask questions. Where are you banned? Raise awareness, be the voice, and I'm going to leave you with this. Intimate partner violence affects millions worldwide. It is a silent epidemic, but we can raise the voice, we can raise awareness. Awareness saves lives, right? And so thank you I'm inviting you to share this because somebody may need to hear it, somebody may need to be aware of it. But when we're talking about what's taking people out, it's not just chronic health conditions, but it's also the secrecy of being in a bad relationship. And so, unfortunately, when people try to leave those relationships, I'm saying this so that we can eliminate and remove the space of judgment that we have, because oftentimes when people are trying to leave those relationships, that's when they get caught in the crossfire and the person says, "You're not leaving me. If I can't have you," that is a real thing. If I can't have you, then no one can. They will take that person's life and then turn around and take their own life. So be kind, be compassionate, wear your purple, show support, and also donate to any domestic violence center in your community. Thank you. And if you know someone who's experiencing intimate partner violence, please make sure you connect them to the appropriate resources. If you can't handle it, that's okay. Please make sure you connect them to the appropriate resources. Be there for them without judgment. The biggest thing is without judgment, because it's already hard enough. And saying things like, "Well, you just don't want to get out of this situation," that's not helpful. It's not helpful at all. I'm going to say it one more time. Be kind and be compassionate. Please pay attention to those around you. I'll talk to you later.